Hi there, thanks for stopping by. My name is Mark Kelly. I hope you're doing really well. In this short video, I want to have a little chat about one of the most important skills you can learn in life, good communication. Good communication is vital for both our personal relationships and professional endeavors. Whether you're talking to a friend, delivering a presentation at work, or even negotiating a blockbuster deal with a client, your ability to communicate clearly and effectively can make all the difference. However, unfortunately, even the most well-intentioned communicators can fall into some communication traps. And so in this video, I'm going to explore 5 of the most common communication mistakes and give you some tips for overcoming them. Because by recognizing these traps and adopting new strategies for communication, you'll develop stronger connections with others and possibly help towards greater success in other areas of your life. Now, these tips, they're a mixture of personal and group communication. The first mistake is failing to listen actively. To communicate effectively, you need to give your full attention to the speaker and show that you're understanding their message. But many people make the mistake of not listening actively. So they might interrupt the speaker, fail to engage fully with what they're saying, or let their mind wander. I mean, did you know that on average, apparently we interrupt the person we're talking to within 8 seconds of their response? Crazy, right? So what can you do to improve your active listening skills? Well, first off, maintain eye contact with the speaker to show that you're engaged in the conversation. Not weirdly, just, kind of naturally, just look at them, don't look away. Then ask open-ended questions to encourage the speaker to share more information and clarify any points that aren't clear. So generally, don't ask questions that you can simply answer with a yes or no. Anything other than that is an open-ended question. Finally, why don't you summarize what the speaker has said in your own words to demonstrate you've understood their message, but don't do it robotically. Keep it natural. The second mistake is using jargon or overly complicated language. Many of us fall into the trap of using language that's too technical or complicated, which can be a barrier to effective communication. Some might assume that using complex terms will make them sound more knowledgeable or professional, but in reality, it might lead to confusion and misunderstanding. So unless you're at a conference or on a Zoom call with fellow specialists, try and use plain language that's easy for everyone to understand. To simplify your language, start by identifying any jargon or technical terms you might be using, and then think about how you might explain these terms in simpler language and consider more accessible words instead. It might be helpful to break down complex concepts into smaller, more digestible pieces. Use examples or analogies to help illustrate your points. The third mistake is connected to the second, and it's failing to consider your audience. It'll help you and your presentation if you try and tailor your communication style to your audience, adapting your language and tone accordingly. For example, if you're giving a presentation to a group of professionals in a technical field, it might be appropriate to use industry-specific jargon and technical terms. But if you're communicating with a lay audience, it's helpful to use plain language and avoid technical jargon that could be confusing or off-putting. So how do you tailor your communication style to your audience? Well, do some research. Research the group you're presenting to beforehand. That might involve looking at your audience's cultural background, educational level, and interests. By doing this, you'll be able to communicate more effectively with your audience and put across well the message you're trying to communicate. Okay, number 4. The fourth mistake is allowing emotions to take over. Emotions can be a really powerful force in communication, but they can also lead to misunderstanding and conflicts. And although it's easy to let our emotions get the better of us in high-pressure situations, we need to learn how to manage them and use them effectively and avoid unnecessary drama. Common pitfalls might include becoming defensive, lashing out, or letting frustration or anger take over. But you can avoid these by stepping back and acknowledging your emotions rather than trying to suppress them or deny their existence. For example, try taking a deep breath or counting to 10 before speaking to give yourself a chance to process your emotions and respond thoughtfully. Another essential technique is to focus on problem solving rather than blame. When emotions run high, it's easy to start pointing fingers and assigning blame, but this rarely leads to productive outcomes. Instead, try to find a solution that works for everyone involved and keep the conversation focused on the issues rather than personal attacks or accusations. Okay, the fifth and final mistake is not following through. When we make promises or commitments, we've got to follow through on them in the time and the order we stated. Failure to follow through can damage relationships and erode trust, making it harder to communicate effectively in the future. So to avoid this mistake, try your best to stay organized and keep track of your commitments. You might find it helpful to use a to-do list or a calendar app to keep track of your tasks and deadlines. Setting reminders can also be beneficial, and turning on notifications can help you stay on top of your commitments and avoid letting anything slip through the cracks. But if you do find that you're unable to follow through on a commitment, it's essential to communicate this to the other party as soon as possible. Be honest about why you can't meet your obligations and try to find a solution that works for everyone. This might involve renegotiating the terms of the commitment or finding someone else who can take over the task. So to sum up, communicating well is an essential skill that we all need to master to be successful in many areas of our lives. And unless you're some kind of super speaker, we can all fall into common communication traps that will hinder what you're trying to present. By recognizing these pitfalls and practicing new strategies for communication, you'll build good communication habits. So, why not commit today to being more mindful of how you're communicating and make positive changes that'll help you connect with others more meaningfully and positively? So I hope you find this video helpful, and if you did, obviously don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.